Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about three game twos that happened last night, with the first one being the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers. Now, I'm going to dive into the Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana Pacers. Now, for the Milwaukee Bucks, it's just it. Some at most of the time for the Milwaukee Bucks, it is just a one man show. You can see that Giannis had another 30 plus point game in a loss. So this is the 13th, excuse me, no, this is the 15th game in his playoff career where where Giannis has scored at least 30 points in a loss. So it's just been a one man show for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, good news, we did see Damian Lillard get back into the fold last night. He had 14 points, and he is going to come back and get himself more and more acquainted throughout this series. Now, I expect for game three, I expect the Milwaukee Bucks to win game three and make this a series instead of a potential sweep. Now, for the starters last night for the Milwaukee Bucks, Terrian Prince 6 points, Giannis Antetokounmpo 34 points, Kyle Kuzma 12 points, Brook Lopez 8 points, Damian Lillard 14 points. Bench production for the Milwaukee Bucks, Bobby Portis 28 points, had a good game, needed some more help coming off the bench. Jericho Sims 0 points, Gary Trent Jr. 4 points, Kevin Porter Jr. 9 points, AJ Green 0 points. Chris Livingston, Pat Covington, Andre Jackson Jr., and Ryan Hollins did not play because of coach's decision. So, playoffs, the bench production, their lineups, they get smaller and smaller. They get reduced. So now the Indiana Pacers starters, Pascal Siakam, 24 points. Andrew Naismith, 16 points. Miles Turner, 15 points. Andrew Nabar, 17 points. Tyrese Halliburton, 21 points. Bench production for the Indiana Pacers, Obi Toppin, 7 points. Jarris Walker, 3 points. Thomas Bryant, 0 points. TJ McConnell, 6 points. Benedict Mathurin, 14 points. James Johnson, Johnny Ferry, Tony Bradley, Ben Shepard did not play because of coach's decision. Now, Indiana, they have won both of these games. They won game one by 19, and then last night they won game two by 8. So we already know that both of these defenses are putrid. So it is just who is going to outshoot the opponents, and the Indiana Pacers have outshot the Milwaukee Bucks in both games. Now that doesn't mean that they are going to go on to win this series in Milwaukee. I expect Milwaukee to win at least one of the two games, but if they can't win both of those games, then their season is definitely over. And the Indiana Pacers could finish this series in 5 games. But as of last night, for here are the statistics for this game. And the statistics: field goal percentage from the floor, 50% for the Milwaukee Bucks, 48% for the Indiana Pacers. Made threes last night. The Milwaukee Bucks made 14 threes, but the Pacers made 16 threes. And that was pretty much basically the game right there because they won by 8. Free throw percentage, 19 of 19 for the Indiana Pacers. Another reason why they won. Milwaukee Bucks, 13 of 19, 68%. The total rebounds, +5 for the Milwaukee Bucks. Offensive rebounds, +5 for the Milwaukee Bucks. Defensive rebounds, they were even at 31. Assists, +4 for the Indiana Pacers. Steals, +5 for the Indiana Pacers. Blocks, +3 for the Milwaukee Bucks. Turnovers, +8 for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks, I always emphasize with any team in the playoffs, you cannot turn the ball over and expect to win. Not against a team, not against any team in the playoffs, but especially a team that can score in the high 120s when it comes to the Indiana Pacers. You can't do that. So the points off of turnovers, Milwaukee Bucks had 15 points off of turnovers. Indiana Pacers had 5 points off of turnovers. Fast break points didn't have much of a factor in this game. 9 points, 9-4 in fast break points. Points in the paint. 48 for Milwaukee, 46 for Indiana. Fouls, even. The largest lead for this game for the Indiana Pacers was 16, and the Indiana Pacers led the entirety of this game. Now, what the Milwaukee Bucks have to do is game 3, they got to come out with a different kind of intensity to let the Pacers, to let the Pacers know that this is not going to be a sweep. This is not going to be a sprint. This is going to be a marathon of a series. So I expect the Milwaukee Bucks to win game 3. If they don't, then the series is definitely over, because no team in NBA playoff history have came back from a 3-0 series deficit before. So now, the next game I'm going to cover might be a potential sweep. Might be the Memphis Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm going to tell you all that what the Oklahoma City Thunder have done the first 2 games haven't been done since 1986, when the Lakers did it to the San Antonio Spurs, which means they scored, which means game 1, game 1, OKC won by 51. Last night, they won by 19. So the Memphis Grizzlies, they really don't have, what else can the Memphis Grizzlies do? Because we said coming into this series that they are not a particular 8 seed. I mean a typical 8 seed, excuse me, but they're looking like a typical 8 seed after these first 2 games, because you can see it when it comes to the Memphis Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr., 26 points. He had a good game. Zach Edey, 4 points. Ja Morant, 23 points. Desmond Bane, 19 points. Scottie Pippen Jr., 13 points. Bench production, Grizzlies bench production. Marvin Bagley, 11 minutes, 0 points. Santi Amada, 31 minutes, 10 points. John Concar, 10 minutes, 0 points. Luke Kennard, 18 minutes, 4 points. You are not going to get very far. And we didn't expect the Memphis Grizzlies to look this bad this early in the playoffs. Need I remind everybody, but not December, but January 15th, the Memphis Grizzlies were second in the West. They were. And since then, it has just been a downward spiral when it comes to record-wise and getting and firing their head coach. Just 12 games left in the regular season. Now we get the present day, and it seems like that they can't even make this series a competition with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now we get to the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is nothing but balanced scoring. Chet Holmgren, 20 points. Jalen Williams, 24 points. Isaiah Hartenstein, 6 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, he hasn't had a signature game, one of his signature games that we are used to, his 35 or 40-point games. He hasn't he hasn't needed to do that yet. Lugaz Dort, 8 points. Thunder bench production, Jalen Williams, 3 minutes, 0 points, which he wasn't really a factor. Alex Caruso, 22 minutes, 13 points, great. Isaiah Joe, 17 minutes, 7 points. Aaron Wiggins, 8 points. Kason Wallace, 5 points. When we get to this, when we get to these statistics from game one to game two, obviously in OKC's favor. Now, for the Memphis Grizzlies, what can they do in game three to make this series look competitive? Because every quarter, in the first 8 quarters of this series, the Oklahoma City Thunder have outscored the Memphis Grizzlies by over 20 points in all 8 quarters. This was a matchup, but the Thunder is showing everybody that this was a mismatch. So that's why I said that the Oklahoma City Thunder would win this series in 6 games. But if the Thunder win game three, the series is basically over. Because as far as the Memphis Grizzlies defending, they have trouble defending teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder. And like I've been saying throughout the entirety of the regular season, Memphis Grizzlies are a team that is full of hype. Then when they get to the playoffs, they get to that threshold and they are not able to produce. They are not. They're not able to produce. Now, when we get to these statistics last night, everything was basically in OKC's favor, from shooting percentage from the floor, from the 3-point line. OKC Thunder made 15 threes. Memphis made 10. Free throws, they pretty much was the same. Rebounds, plus 13 for Oklahoma City. Offensive rebounds, plus 7. Defensive rebounds, plus 6. Assists, plus 4 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Steals, plus 5 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Blocks, plus 3 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Turnovers, plus 8 for the Grizzlies. Points off of turnovers, 25 points off of turnovers for the Memphis Grizzlies. And for the OKC Thunder, 6 points off of turnovers. Fast break points, that was pretty much, a significant disparity in that department. 21 points, fast break department for the Thunder, only 3 points for the Memphis Grizzlies. Points in the paint, plus 8 for the Thunder. 54 to 46. Fouls, OKC had more fouls, and the largest lead of this game was 23 points in favor of the Thunder. Memphis hasn't led at all. Memphis has led in this series for a grand total of 2 minutes. A grand total of 2 minutes they've led in this series. Now that is a significant mismatch. And Ja Morant said that in game one, they wouldn't play as bad as they did. Well, for game two, they wouldn't play as bad as they did in game one. Now, at least they made the score look respectable, but still, in the playoffs, you have to win. If you don't win, you going home. So, that's all I have for the Memphis Grizzlies and OKC Thunder. The next game I'm going to talk about, and the final game that I'm going to finish out the show with, is the Minnesota Timberwolves and my Los Angeles Lakers, baby. That's what it is. Now, bounce back. Now, this is what I was talking about. Bounce back, because everybody, and I do mean everybody was saying after game one, this series would be over. But I said no, it would not be over. And as you can see, last night the Los Angeles Lakers had a different type of intensity. You had first off, let me start with the Minnesota Timberwolves because Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards basically carried the team last night. Julius Randle, 27 points. Jaden McDaniels, 8 points. Rudy Gobert, 6 points. Mike Conley, 0 points in 21 minutes played. That's bad. Anthony Edwards, 25 points. Timberwolves bench production. Nas Reed, 9 points. Dante DiVincenzo, 4 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 4 points. Terrence Shannon Jr., 2 points. Now, this is what we were supposed to be seeing in game one. But the T-Wolves had hot shooting in game one, and I told everybody that the Minnesota Timberwolves would not have a shooting night like they had in game one, where they were 23 of 43. Last night, they were 6 of 29, I believe, if I am going to correct myself if I'm wrong in a few minutes. Now, as far as the Los Angeles Lakers, Rui Hachimura had 11 points, which is decent. LeBron James had 21 points. Jackson Hayes had 2 points. Luka Doncic, 31 points. Austin Reeves, 16 points. Lakers bench production, Dorian Finney-Smith, 7 points. Jared Vanderbilt, 0 points. Gabe Vincent, 6 points. Jordan Goodwin, 0 points. Now, the Los Angeles Lakers, I can say that they are back on even ground. Now, they were able to win game two. If I'm the Lakers, I'm going to try and get greedy and try and get games 3 and 4 so that we can finish this series in 5 games. Now, last night, the statistics last night, a few seconds ago, I said that the Minnesota Timberwolves did not have a good night from the three-point line, and they didn't. They were 5 of 25, but the Lakers didn't do much better because they were 6 of 29. Now, free throws, the Lakers, they won the game strictly off of free throws. They were 20 of 20. They didn't miss a free throw last night. Total turnovers was 14 for the Lakers and 13 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rebounds, I was happy from what I saw last night from the Lakers when it came to rebounds. They were scrapping on the floor, and that is what the Lakers need to do. When that ball comes off, when a Timberwolves shoot the ball and it comes off the rim and they miss it, I need to see all of the Lakers that are on the floor. I need to see them scrapping, trying to get that rebound, get that loose ball, and that is what they did last night. Offensive rebounds, they were even. Defensive rebounds +7 for the Lakers, and that was critical last night. Assists +9 for the Lakers. Blocks +4 for the Lakers. Steals +2 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Turnovers, I just mentioned that, 14 to 13. Pretty much it was a turnover fest. It was a defensive game. Points off of turnovers. Minnesota had 15 points. Lakers had 13. Points in the paint was dead even at 46. Fouls. Lakers had 2 more fouls than the Timberwolves. The largest lead in this game was 22 for the Lakers, and the largest lead in this game was 2 for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but that was in the first few seconds of the game when they were leading 4-2. So now, this series is even at 1. Grizzlies Thunder, 2-0 in favor of the Thunder. Pacers Bucks, 2-0 in favor of the Pacers. And with that, those are my reactions to last night's game 2s between the Bucks and Pacers, Grizzlies, Thunder, and the Timberwolves and Lakers. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. I am also going to be doing a Instagram show in a few minutes. Behind this, I'm going to talk about these same 3 games, but on Instagram. And we are also doing an expansion right here on YouTube. So thank you to everybody that has been watching the show every day. We also have the NFL draft that is coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be doing NFL coverage, but I will still be covering the NBA games for tomorrow night. After the games that come on tomorrow night for the NBA, I will be giving my 3-minute post-game reaction to all of the games from 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 the night from Thursday night, from the Thursday night slate of the playoff schedule. So one last thing, please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. Key Time Sports on YouTube, follow, share, like. Key City Sports on Instagram, follow, share, like, subscribe. We are also doing an expansion on both Key Town Sports and Key City Sports. So please subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button on both platforms, because what I have in store for everybody, you do not want to miss it. And remember, everybody, one last thing. The key is always on time. See you all tomorrow.